Hello, Dave here with emergencyprepguy.com. I appreciate you stopping by. As I'm filming here today, there's just airplanes buzzing all over the house, so hopefully I'll be able to film this video. I'm just trying to do it in between airplanes flying by. But if you've been watching my recent videos, you know that I'm super excited about trying out the Mittleider Gardening Method this year. In fact, in a recent video, I built the Mittleider style garden beds in that greenhouse that you see behind me. And if you can see, that patch of bark there is going to be where my garden is this year. And I'm going to build 4 30-foot long Mittleider garden beds there. And 2 of them will have the T structures, the Mittleider T structures, if you know what those are. And by the way, if you're interested in knowing more about the Mittleider Gardening Method, I'll put a link to where you can get that book if that's helpful for you below this video. In today's video, what I thought I would do is I'm going to mix up my first batch of the Mittleider Preplant mix, and I'll give you that recipe as we do that. And then I'm also gonna mix up a batch of the Mittleider weekly feed. Those are the 2 fertilizers that make the production so high and also the nutrition so high, which is why I'm excited about trying the Mittleider Gardening Method. So anyway, let's get to it and mix up those batches. Okay, probably the 2 most exciting things to me about the Mittleider Gardening Method, especially from an emergency preparedness standpoint, is how much more nutritious your food is, because you're getting all of the trace elements and everything that the plants need. Jacob Mittleider spent like 30 years, he was a scientist, but he spent like the last 30 years of his life traveling around the third world countries and teaching them, developing the system and teaching them how to grow not only gardens that would produce the most amount of food for the least amount of effort, but the most nutritious food, because that's what these people needed, and that's actually what we need also. So that's the first thing, is this is a way to grow the most nutritious food that you can find anywhere, with all the trace elements that we don't get anymore from our depleted farmlands. Number 2 is, you know, if you've ever dealt with typical organic type gardening where you're dealing with, you know, tons of compost and manures and even sometimes worm castings and other types of soil amendments, you know how not only how much volume that stuff takes, how much of that you have to have, but also how much all that costs. And for much less money and much less storage space, you can easily store 5 or 6 years or 10 years even of everything that you would possibly need, all the nutrients that your garden would need for the typical family garden, multiple years worth in a very small amount of space. So I'm going to show that to you here real quick. If you can see here, this is one of the main ingredients. 16, 16, 16. What do I got? 9 or 10 bags there. Take up very little space. Obviously, I need to find a better place than that to put it. I just got it sitting right now in the corner of my garage. But that's probably an 8 or 10 year supply of that particular part of the weekly feed. So right here, and I have one more bag out in the greenhouse. This is the calcium that you need for the pre-plant mix. And then over here is 5 boxes. Again, I got one of the bags of Epsom salt out in the greenhouse. But that was 5 bags of Epsom salts. Got a few boxes of borax there. I need to get a few more of those. And then right here I've got, I can't remember how many is in there, but it's like 10 or 15 boxes of the micronutrient mix. And then over here I've got another 10, at least 10 of them, I think, in there. And so that's the main thing that I want to get across, is just in that little bit of space, and I don't even have a good spot for it right now. I'll get a better spot. Taking up hardly any of my garage. I still have, you know, way too much stuff in this garage, and I've got 2 cars that park in here. But I've got an 8 or 10 year supply of all of the nutrients that the typical family garden would need, you know, for 8 or 10 years. To me, that's super exciting. So right here, this is what you need to mix up the pre-plant mix. You're going to put in 20 pounds of gypsum, 4 ounces of borax, 20 mule team borax, and 1 pound of Epsom salt. And I want to talk briefly about the gypsum. The reason you're putting gypsum in, or I'm putting gypsum in, is because of the calcium. Where I live, my rainfall is less than 20 inches a year, and so gypsum is what you use in that case to add calcium to the soil. You would use lime if your rainfall was higher than 20 inches a year, because your soil is going to be more depleted. Okay, you can see it's just a hair over 20 pounds, and that's of the gypsum. Okay, so in this wheelbarrow, that's exactly 20 pounds of gypsum. And you can see I've been pouring borax into the scale. I put the cup on there originally and zeroed it out so that it wasn't including the measuring cup as part of the weight. And that seems to be the closest I can get on this particular scale. If I pour a little bit out with my fingers, see, I get it to 399. Let's see if I can get exact. Yeah, it jumps up to 402. So that seems to be as close to 4 as this scale. I guess I could have gone 399, would have been a little closer. But anyway, it's 4 ounces basically. So that's of the borax. So we're gonna mix that in to our mixture here. Okay, I failed to film it. I thought I hit the on button, but I didn't. But I just measured out in this thing 1 pound of Epsom salt, and I've dumped the 1 pound in there. Now I've just got to mix it up with the shovel. Okay, if you can see that okay, I've got it all mixed up. I've just mixed it up with this shovel 4 or 5 times. Now I'm going to put it in a bucket. That's our pre-plant mix. By the way, real quick, I want to tell you, if you're using these 5-gallon buckets with normal lids, you want to get this tool right here. It makes it so easy to take the lids off of those buckets, or you can get the kind of buckets, with the screw-on type. But if you got standard buckets, this thing is a godsend. Okay, so what you're looking at here is all of the ingredients that you need for the Mittleider weekly feed. You've got the 16-16-16. You'll put in 25 pounds of that, and then this is just regular pure Epsom salt, like you can get anywhere. You can get it at Walmart, wherever you want. I'll put a link to where I got that, as well as everything else below the video in case that's helpful. But anyway, this is just regular Epsom salt. You put in 4 pounds of Epsom salt, 25 pounds of the 16-16-16, and then 10-ounce bag of the Mittleider micronutrient mix. This is that has all the trace minerals and elements that that your plants need in it, besides what they get in these other ingredients. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, you can see this is 25 pounds exactly. I've got 25 pounds of 16-16-16. Okay, there's the 25 pounds of 16-16-16. I have that in the wheelbarrow now. And as you can see here on the scale, I'm right at 3.996. I'm going to pour a little bit more Epsom salt. I need 4 pounds of Epsom salt. So as I'm pouring that in, all right, I'm going to call that good. Well, let's see. There we go. Looks like that's as close as I'm going to get it. So here's our 4 pounds of Epsom salts. Now I've got this bag that just has 2 10-ounce bags of the Mittleider micronutrient mix in it, and it's got instructions on how to fill it all out. All those instructions are also in the Mittleider gardening book. But I'm gonna take that out and we'll dump it in. Just gonna pour that whole 10 ounces around, and then I'll mix that all up. Okay, so it was that simple. This bucket is the pre-plant mix, and this one is the weekly feed. I'm just gonna get a Sharpie and write that on both of them. And you can see those lids I got over there. I'll put the lids on them. And this should last me all season. And this provides, you know, all of the 16 essential nutrients that every plant needs. And I'm excited not only to use it on my garden, but to use it on my fruit trees. It tells how much to use on fruit trees as well in the Mittleider Garden book. So anyway, I'm super excited. Okay, now that we've got the pre-plant mix and the weekly feed all measured out and in buckets, now I want to explain to you how to measure the weekly feed and the pre-plant mix and how to know how much to use in your rows. Now I'm just learning this thing, so I have it written out here, so apologize for reading, but basically let's start with the weekly feed. For the weekly feed, you're going to do 1 ounce per linear foot between each row of plants. That's the general rule, regardless of what size of bed that you have. So for like my 18-inch wide 30-foot beds, which is what I'm going to have out in the garden, in here I have two 15-foot 18-inch wide beds, so I'll treat those like one 30-foot bed. Anyway, so for 30 feet, 18 inches wide, that'll be a total of 15 ounces that you'll use. And then for the pre-plant mix, that'll be 2 pounds for 30 feet bed, 18 inches wide, which works out to 1 ounce per linear foot between each row of plants. Now, how you measure that out, the best way is just get like a little can that you're going to reuse, like an old soup can or plastic container or something, and you measure out, like in the case of the weekly feed, you measure out the 15 ounces that you need, and then right around the top of the feed you draw a line, and then after that you don't have to measure it out each time. You just real quickly fill it up to that line and you know you're good. Same thing with the pre-plant mix. Now the weekly feed, obviously you feed it once a week, and you get kind of, as you do it, you get used to being able to sprinkle it evenly throughout the whole 30-foot bed. Basically, you want to sprinkle it under the water line in each bed, so that the water will hit and make it available to the plants, because it's water soluble. On the pre-plant mix, what you do is you do that once, and then, like I said, in that case, it's 2 pounds per 30-foot bed. 1 ounce per linear foot between each row of plants. For that, you do it in the beginning before you plant anything, right as you're preparing the bed. That's what most Mittleider gardeners do. Dave from LDS Prepper was telling me that he likes to do it also then again once a month thereafter throughout the season. Okay, I just want to show you, I put the lids on and they're all on there tight. And I just want to show you how cool this tool is. Just go like that all the way around, and voila, your bucket is open. Just love that tool. Okay, well, I hope this was interesting. I hope you got some benefit out of it. I appreciate you watching the video all the way to the end. If you did, please don't forget to share this on your social media. That helps us grow the channel, and liking the video, that more than anything really helps us with the Google algorithm. And if you like this kind of content, we'd love to have you subscribe. So appreciate you watching the video again. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you in the next video.